the Cinema Night Podcast, episode 195. I'm Michael, it's Travis and Eric, and today's main event will focus on the movie called Starship Troopers, a film directed by Paul Verhoeven, and that'll be the main segment, main portion of today's show in a little bit. Of course, every week, you can email the show, cinemanightpod@gmail.com, 5-star reviews, all that stuff. We have a YouTube. We're on every podcast platform possible. And Travis, it's show night. It's past your bedtime, so we appreciate you staying up with us tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome, but it's not that late. I mean, it's late for me. It's just not late in reality. It's just late for my usual work schedule. But I had my last day with my students today.
Oh, nice.
It's just in my office.
Tender moments.
Just 3 days. Like, they give us 3 days to clean your classroom. Get your, the grades are due tomorrow morning before I even get there. So it's just 3 days of sitting in my classroom because reasons.
Sounds like fun.
I mean, they don't get 2 months, 3 months off.
Can't really hear you. You're disappearing. You're cutting out.
Choppy.
You heard that, Eric?
He's choppy.
I'm choppy. I don't
You
know.
sound fine now. We just were going in and out. I don't know why.
I pulled the microphone a little closer to me.
Something happened, but it's okay now.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Great.
You sound beautiful.
I look beautiful too. Eric, how's it going?
I've been trapped at home with my sick infant. When you're trapped at home with a sick infant and you have like horrific ADHD and like you got a bunch of projects you want to do creatively, it makes your life an absolute living hell.
Wow.
But I'm trying some coping mechanisms that may or not be very healthy for me, and I'm doing my best.
Drugs? We're talking drugs? Needle drugs?
I'm all about, self...
Straight liquor?
They call it... Not self-care,
Medicating?
but like, self-medicate, yeah. I mean, whatever works.
Anesthesia? You just knock yourself out? It's not your fault. The country you live in has some problems, but it's still better than some others. So is that okay? I mean, if you got it better than others, but it could still be better, is that good enough? I don't know.
Capitalism?
How am I not myself? How you doing, Mike?
How am I not myself? Well, I just finished the movie, so I ran home from work and I knocked it out. Now we're here. So excellent.
Right. Cool.
I was able to get the whole thing in, so I'm excited about that. But let's see. It's June 11th, 2024, and I don't know if things have changed. Society seems to remain same as it ever was. I haven't been to the movie theater in years. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie in the theater. I really can't. Makes me sad.
Did you go to anything since you were supposed to see that Nick Cage movie with me and Aaron?
Nope. You're right. No, I haven't been even then. So that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that was
maybe 2.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was the one with what's his face?
I always forget. The unbearable weight of massive talent. There we go.
That's right. I think that's absolutely correct. You nailed it. Well done. But
At this point.
Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage, yeah. I did end up seeing it, but I saw it at home. I really cannot remember last time I saw a movie in the theater, and I guess I'm like a lot of other Americans because the theater's in the shitter this year. Though I do believe that Deadpool and Wolverine will save it.
What the fuck? So. 2 years?
Yeah,
I've been to
at
the
least.
theater in 2. Yeah, I've been since
Over.
Top Gun 2 in 2 years.
Oh,
Fucked.
I think it was the Batman. Truly, I think that was the last time. That was in 2022. The
okay.
Batman, and we came home that night and did a live. We did our own kind of review of it. I think that was the last time. Yeah.
Man.
I used to go every day. Every day.
Every day.
2 years.
Expensive habit.
There was that Movie Pass documentaries on HBO Max right now, and I had that. When I lived in Maryland, I got Movie Pass, and I was going like 4 days a week. It really was because
I remember when you were doing that, and that was like, and I heard about it like right at the tail end of things, and I just missed that boat. So I don't even want to watch that documentary because it makes me feel like it reminds me of what I missed out on.
Well, didn't they do like, well, wait, we need to cut the brakes here. Premium movies, you don't get the pass on. They started that bullshit.
Yeah, they did, but it was still $10 a month, and you could go once a day.
It's pretty nice.
That's what
Mike,
actually was the downfall of the company.
Yeah.
Did you ever do the right thing and not just go into the movie that you wanted to see that was a premium film, even though you had the pass?
No, I went in to see every movie I planned to see. I never cheated with it. I never did, honestly. Yeah.
Good for you.
It was cool. I had a card that said Movie Pass. I felt like I was part of some exclusive club.
You weren't.
You were.
Actually, it seems like it was really exclusive. That's why it didn't work.
Exclusive in that they stole all of your credit card information.
Well, yeah, that did happen. But that was 2018, and I was a broke loser in Maryland, so they could have had it all and then some. There was shit to take from me then. But I do remember one of the theaters I went to in Maryland it was kind of Egyptian themed. It was
racist.
It was an AMC, but it had like massive outside statue work. Like we're talking like giant pillars. Like they really went all in on this. I don't know why it was Egyptian themed, because it wasn't like they only offered Egyptian films or something. It was strange. It was weird, but it was
cinema
gigantic.
appropriation.
Oh, you said it, not me, buddy. But anyways, I do want to go see Deadpool and Wolverine with Travis. I really would like us to make that happen. I hope it works out.
I've already bought my ticket. I've already bought my ticket.
Oh, you already got your ticket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm sure you'll go see it again. So
probably.
You know, I saw Inception, and then I saw it again with you in 2010. So, yeah.
Going way back now.
Yeah, 2010. I remember what that movie blew. I just couldn't believe it. That movie had a big impact on me. I'm like, I love this movie. It's amazing. And it was. In the theater, in particular, it was a unique theater experience, I thought.
So there's been other movies since that were good in theaters, and you missed them.
14 years later? I don't buy that. No way. Well, I mean, we're not going to the theater, but we've been sitting on our duffs watching stuff. So the quarantine viewing picks. Travis, what have you been watching on your duff at home?
Well, I've actually watched a fair amount of stuff. I watched Shallow Hal, as I sent a pic to you guys. 2 hours. That's a 2-hour movie. I sat there and watched it all.
Alexander's nub.
How was Gwyneth's suit?
She has remarked since how desperately uncomfortable it made her, like on a personal level, and you can see it in her face.
Maybe that's what inspired her to start Goop. Who knows?
Yeah. Is it less uncomfortable than like the children's kidneys she puts in her cheeks, whatever the fuck she does?
She's done so much good with that company. I also revisited for the third time the She-Hulk series. I'm sorry if you're not into Marvel, and you haven't watched this, it's not for you. But if you're into Marvel movies and you've still not watched this, it's one of the easiest rewatches out of all of them. It's one of my favorite shows. Some of the special effects are a little less than some of the other stuff, but as far as content goes, it's just a lot of fun. And speaking, I saw
it once and it was good. I agree. I need to see it again, but I did watch it when it came out in 22 or 3, and it was good. I know people shat on it, but I liked it.
It's just fun. You can see a lot of characters that you like and circumstances that you don't ordinarily get to see them in, and it's a real shame it didn't do better. I would love to have another season of that, but it's probably not.
Oh, we're not getting any more?
I would doubt it. I would really be surprised, but it'd be great if it happens. I'll be stoked. I hope at least to see more. I hope to at least see more of Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk and some other stuff. I hope.
Ooh, Bob Iger shut everything down, right? Less movies, less shows, everything's downsized. Right?
I mean, I don't think he was wrong to do that. I just don't think. I just don't think that She-Hulk was one of the problem series, and a lot of people think that it was. But I think each their own.
I think not to interrupt any further, but I think we may look back. At least I think we might look back and say, boy, if they had nailed that period of time with a lot of shows that were really popular, people loved, we'd be in an even better situation now. It would have created more and more. And I don't think it's necessarily anyone's fault either. A lot of the shows were great. I loved it. I loved that they took the Marvel universe into the television streaming world because they could tell deeper, longer stories. And I don't think it was a failure at all, but I do see an alternate reality where, man, it really hit and it became like the norm. Like, we're going to get these shows, 3 shows a year at least. It's awesome. Maybe more. Yeah,
the problem wasn't the shows. The problem was all at once there was some pretty lackluster stuff because it was like Secret Invasion came out at the same time as like Quantumania and that Thor movie and the Doctor Strange movie. It was just kind of like a bunch of duds in a row.
You love that Doctor Strange sequel.
The very worst of the MCU. But moving on, I revisited Ratatouille, one of my favorite movies from 2007, and it still makes me laugh and feel an emotional response every time I watch that movie. It's just fucking delight.
Never seen it.
It's great. And speaking of delight, I watched Jim Henson, Idea Man, the new Ron Howard documentary about Jim Henson.
Oh.
If you give any shits about the second half of the 20th century and the pop culture that was produced during that time, you really should watch this movie. The dude lived 53 years and left an indelible mark on American and world culture. And, Ron Howard, I think, went out of his way to make a movie that Jim Henson himself would have liked. And I respect that. And it's very much, it leaves you feeling like, it's very like whimsical, but it's not too hagiographic. It's not like a deep, gritty look at Jim Henson, but there is some unflinching points where you're kind of like, oh, it probably was hard to have him as a dad or a husband, that kind of stuff in there. It's really good. It's on Disney Plus, and I strongly recommend Jim Henson. Idea Man.
Did pneumonia come up?
Well, yeah, that's how he died.
Just checking.
Well, yeah, okay, but it's also like it's not just the pneumonia. It's like it's kind of, not to like give any spoilers, but it kind of made me think of Bob Marley and his fucking toe. His skin cancer. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, fuck, man, you could have done something about this. You kind of fucked up. So it's frustrating in that respect. Definitely watch it if you like Jim Henson and all that kind of stuff. I'd never, speaking of whimsical and delightful, I'd never seen Singing in the Rain from 1952, and I'm like, I should probably put this under my belt. And it's one of those movies that, like, I just never watched it because I'm not that big into musicals, and I'm not that big into 50s movies. And I'm just like, and I felt like I'd seen all the important scenes a lot before. But I tell you, man, what a monumental masterpiece. Just incredible. I mean, the practical effects and the huge production that went into making this thing are just so fun to watch. It's just really beautiful. It's pure art. It's just artistry. It's really, really good. Definitely really, I was like, well, that's why it's a classic. 70 years on, it's still impressing people. So that says something. Gene Kelly, which my whole life thought Gene Kelly was the other dude in Singing in the Rain every time I saw it. No. I'm like, no, that's his buddy. Gene Kelly's like, he was a lot more, and I've seen him like we watched Professional recently. I have no idea, but he was a lot more of a standard looking Hollywood face than I expected. I thought he was kind of a goofier looking dude, but no, he was kind of a Marlon Brando looking kind of guy, really.
Ooh.
And then lastly, I guess my big suggestion of the week on Netflix, if you've not seen Godzilla -1, you need to see Godzilla -1. It is awesome. I mean, I don't want to overhype it because it's already pretty well hyped up, but this is, I cried at a fucking Godzilla movie. Come on now. I'm serious. So every Godzilla movie, every kaiju movie, they have the same issue where it's like no one really cares about the people. I don't care about these fucking humans. Right. But at the same time, if you make it just really focus on the monsters, it starts to feel kind of weird. Like what am I looking at here? And that's kind of what happened with like the last Kong and Godzilla movie. There's so little of the actors. It's just like you're just watching these fucking monsters interact, and it's almost like it's like you do need some people. And this movie, Godzilla -1, it takes place in the immediate aftermath of the firebombing of Tokyo and the end of World War II. And it is very much about like a found family and PTSD and the long-term effects of like the whole war and all that stuff. And it's not just like, oh, America bad. There's also like a lot of fingers pointed at the imperial government and that kind of stuff. It is a great story if you remove Godzilla from the equation. Like it is literally a really good human story with Godzilla and stuff in it. So I thought it was fantastic and definitely recommend.
I'm just gonna play Rampage instead.
Hey. Lizzie.
I was always Ralph myself.
Lizzie.
Who's Ralph?
The wolf, the giant werewolf.
Oh, I love the wolf. Yeah, I like Lizzie and the wolf. Yeah,
I like them all. But yeah, what about you, Eric? What have you been watching?
Yeah, Starman, 1984. John Carpenter.
Never seen it.
Jeff Bridges, Karen Allen.
Been a long time.
Charles Martin Smith.
How is it?
It's pretty good. It's pretty like.
What a ringing endorsement.
Pretty good.
It's that convincing.
No, it's
pretty good.
It's entertaining for sure, but it's like a fish out of water story where like, oh, he's an alien and everything's so fucking unfamiliar. So it's like, it gets a kind of cringeworthy. Like Jeff Bridges, he was up for like best actor for this movie. He's good, but like some of the stuff he's doing is like, I had to turn away from the screen. I was embarrassed.
Better
Oh
or
my
worse-
God.
Better or worse than K-Pax?
No, I was laughing about K-Pax. Yeah, it's much better than K-Pax.
Two things come to mind. First off, last week I was asked about the first scary movie I remember. I said The Gate, but it was actually Christine. I just wasn't thinking in the moment because I used to go to this babysitter, Bonnie and Scott. This guy was like 6'6", 280. They collected antiques. The whole house was filled with antiques. It's a crazy place, but Christine was on all the time. They let us watch it on repeat. And I'm talking like we're 6 years old. I'm not kidding. 6, 7 years old. Just going to town on Christine.
That's funny. That's how old I was when I watched The Thing. So we both started with our first horror movies were Carpenter films.
Yes. Wow. And the other thing, too, The Thing was truly, it was DiBiase's favorite movie of all time.
Man had good taste.
He loved John Carpenter because he introduced me to Big Trouble in Little China and The Thing. But I remember he sat me down. I was like, "You're gonna watch this." I was like 14 or something, and it was really good. DiBiase, for those that don't know, is a twice removed stepdad who no longer shares this earthly plane. So long. It was a good run, DiBiase, but he did give me The Thing. I gotta give him credit for that.
Thanks, Deebs.
True. So yeah, I mean, catch it. It's leaving soon on Netflix. So if you're interested, catch it before it goes.
Oh, wait. I had two things. Sorry.
Go ahead,
Karen
please.
Allen, what's the deal? Is she attractive or not? I don't.
Yeah, I just saw her at Motor City Comic Con. She still looks good.
She was there?
Yeah, she was there.
Wow. I would have guessed she was dead. Wow, okay.
No, she was a pretty lady. She was great in Starman.
She was in the new Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's very effective. So yeah, I watched To Kill a Mockingbird 62. It's been since like school.
Nice, yeah.
Fucking amazing. Like it's just so good. It's so good, but I'm pissed. And I'm calling out a boycott on HarperCollins. Never buy a book by this publisher ever. If you can remember.
What did they do to you?
You know the story about Harper Lee? Like she dies at like 89 and they go ahead and publish Ghost Set of Watchmen, touting it as the sequel
Yeah, I remember
to
this.
Kill a Mockingbird. It's not the fucking she didn't want it to be published.
Nope.
It was a rough draft of To Kill a Mockingbird, and these blood-sucking motherfuckers publish it anyway and make a ton of money off of her. I was pissed.
I feel like her sister had something to do with that.
Her estranged sister signed the paperwork and fucked her legacy. I was so mad.
No one read that. No one cares. Her legacy's intact.
Oh, I like that. No, fuck their legacy. Let's push that narrative. But a friend of the show, someone who listens and watches our show, Eric Allen. Hey, buddy, if you're out there.
Eric.
He had just saw that movie for the first time like 3 weeks ago. We talked about
God.
it. He said he read the book, too, and he felt that the book was much more hardcore and that the movie was kind of bogus compared to the book, in his opinion. But
1962. They could only
Yeah.
do so much. They skirted by with saying the word rape, and that was shocking in 1962. I mean, they did what they can. It was fucking amazing. Greg Rupeck is incredible. And I wanted more courtroom drama. I'm like, what else we got here? I want more trials.
The Client!
So I turned The Verdict on, one of my all-time favorite court movies from '82.
Paul Newman?
Paul Newman.
Oh my God!
Sidney
Paul
Lumet.
Newman
That
as
movie.
Frank Galvin, Sidney Lumet. It's 10 out of 10. It's
really
a
good.
complete masterpiece of the highest order. It ended, and I'm like, I said out loud, now that's a goddamn movie. Like out loud. It's like they just don't. I mean, when's the last time you saw a perfect fucking movie?
Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
That
you
is
guys are
good.
coming in hot with your masterpieces tonight.
I watched that a couple of months ago too. Ugh, man, do your homework on that one too. Picture Debbie Reynolds dumping quarts of blood out of her high heels after being forced 18-hour rehearsals from that prick Gene Kelly. But yeah, I mean, incredible films, and that is about it. I did watch that fucking Beach Boys documentary on the Disney Channel. It's god awful. I was pissed. The surviving Beach Boys, of course, everyone but Mike Love are pissed. It's a shit show. I don't know who's in charge. I need to look it up because I was fucking pissed.
I was going to say, is Mike Love behind it? Because if it sucks, it's probably because of him.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That'd be
sure
my
his
guess.
team was behind it, and they painted a picture, and they have all these inaccuracies in there. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's Disney Plus, though.
That's too bad. So on the other show I do, Is It Safe? Our friend Steve, who loves Cinema 9. Steve is maybe our most, I don't know, maybe Steve's our biggest supporter possibly here on Cinema 9. Who is our biggest supporter? Hi, Steve.
day before we insulted him, show after show after show.
Oh, right, yeah. I think we alienated him because we wouldn't give him the deets because we made him earn it. He didn't like that.
Earn this.
We love you, Dave.
That's funny you said that because, D-Day was last week, so I fired up Band of Brothers, knocked it out. So good. Dude. So good.
It's been a while.
So good. So it's been a while for me, too. I did have 2 notes, though. I mean, this is an excellent effort. It really is. But first off, there's no racism in the whole show. That seems unrealistic. You know?
Yeah.
Like these guys, the way they're talking, for some reason, they never reference black people or use any slurs. Seems unlikely. I don't know. But
it's all off screen.
I know that's... it's all off screen. Exactly. So I know it's not the focus of the show. I don't know. They were trying to be realistic. I'm just saying that would have happened. And also, the concentration camps were something that were known by certain higher-ups in the governments. So maybe it was a surprise to them, but certain people would have known the higher up the chain they went. I don't know. It's a minor detail, I guess. But actually, it's not because a lot of people died. I wouldn't call it minor. Just saying. Still a good show, though, in the way it's... I mean, putting all that out there. And like, how did they... We're not talking green screens here, people. We're talking... They're out there, all these cities and towns in rubble. Like, how did they do all that? It looks incredible. It really does. And I'm just imagining the effort from a production design perspective. It's like, whoa, this is daunting. It must have been incredibly daunting.
Wow.
Still valuable if you've never seen it. Definitely watch it. It's Damian Lewis I like him. He's good. He's a good actor.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
Steve, being the Steve McQueen and the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, don't judge him on that alone. Look at his other work. He's done a lot of good stuff.
Dreamcatcher.
Like Dreamcatcher.
Oh, Dreamcatcher. Dream Lover. Let's see. And then I finished Oz, the TV show. I had to finish that. And also, I mentioned Steve because he's like giving me shit about Hacks. He's like, dude, Travis told you to watch Hacks. I'm like, I want to watch it. I'm not against it. Steve loves it too. But I haven't pressed play on it yet. I'm thinking about it. I'm ready to commit to Hacks. I really am. I just
give it some more time. Mellow, just like let it marinate. Give it another year.
Another. Yeah, maybe I'll come back in 3 years, see if it's still on the service or not. But I did that, and then I think I watched some other shit that's old, that's not new, and I need to watch Hacks. I know that. I understand that, and I'll get on it. I'm going to do this. I love the premise. It sounds great. It does.
I'll forgive you once you've watched it.
Check out that Milli Vanilli doc yet?
Oh, shit. I'll watch it. Yeah. You told me about the Gordon Lightfoot doc. I got to it eventually, and it was not a disappointment. It was a classic.
Suggest you watch Gordon Lightfoot, you got to watch that Bee Gees doc and the Milli Vanilli and the American Gladiators doc. You've got like 5 docs you promised me you'd watch.
That's true. I have a lot of promises.
You watch Muscles and Mayhem?
Yeah. It was dumb as hell. Real dumb.
Yeah.
Like they're going deep into the intricacies of American Gladiators.
It's like Turbo was on drugs. Yeah, no shit. What's the point of this?
There were steroids. No way, dude. Wow.
Zach slept with Gemini. Dude.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear some more fucking stories, but it was decent, as I recall. There it is, cinemanipod@gmail.com. And if you've been watching something you'd like to recommend, or you want to shit on our picks or anything we suggested, let us know. We're happy to take your comments aboard here on the show. Having said that, now we transition into what we do every week. Does it hold up or not? This week's choice was selected by Eric, that man himself, right there. Right there. And it's called Starship Troopers, 1997. Paul Verhoeven directed. Doogie Howser's in it. A bunch of people's in it. But, let's get to the meat here. Because I don't think you saw this in the theater, Eric, did you?
Hell no. Dude, yeah. I used to get all the movie magazines from Meyer, because that's all you had. That's your access to entertainment. That and like Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood. I'd get all the movie magazines. Every cover, these bugs were on there, like these soldiers. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this title? What are these bugs?
Premiere.
Yeah, Premiere, Cinescape. And finally, I believe I rented it. I don't remember it. I only seen it that one time. And the only thing I remember is like getting exhausted. Like I felt like the same like fight happened like 20 times and I was exhausted. And that's the only time I'd seen it.
Wow. Different story at my house. Me and my brother are both really into this movie. I don't remember the first time I watched it, but we definitely had a boxed VHS copy in the house. And I've seen this movie 50 times, 100 times.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I've seen this movie a ton of times, but I probably haven't seen it since the 90s or early 2000s.
Well, I guess
Shocking.
that would qualify you as our resident expert only by technicality, because believe it or not, I love Paul Verhoeven, but I never actually sat down.
Oh my
I've
God.
seen so many scenes. I've seen a lot of clips here and there. Bugs, and violence. And I guess when it came out at the time, it looked too sci-fi to me. I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, this looks too sci-fi. But what a fool I was, because there's a whole satire in there. That's my fault. I was young and stupid. But I never actually sat down and watched it.
I was young and stupid because the satire completely went right over my 17-year-old head. And I was just like, I don't know, they're, like a big, powerful country, I guess. I didn't really think about it, And then like years went by, and I'm like, got kind of like embarrassed of liking the movie. I didn't talk about it. I'm like, people don't like this movie. They don't talk about this movie. Yeah. And then people started talking about it again. They're like, it's anti-fascist. And I'm like, yeah, it's anti-fascist.
See, that's what I remember when it came out. I remember people making fun of it when it came out. So I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to like it anyway. So I'm just gonna like not care it.
Me and my brother definitely liked it a lot, but I started to feel shame as time went on. But it's been reassessed in recent years, and people have come around to see its anti-fascist nature.
Yeah,
Wow.
This is a classic case of me judging a book by its cover. It was my fault. It was.
Never.
Well, I mean, come on. Eric, I know you can relate to me on this. Like, that looks like trash. I'm never going to watch that. How many times did that happen to you?
Mike, you tell me you didn't go to Mr. Skin and check out that co-ed shower scene like 5 million times?
I did not, actually. No, it never came up on my radar. I didn't. There's a lot of people in this movie. I'll describe more of that momentarily. But we got to guess the rating on this movie. Is it a 7+ or not?
No.
I'm going to say a 6.6.
Yeah. 6.7. I'll go up a little more.
Yeah, that's still spot on. I'll say 7 for the hell of it, just to mix it up. Actual retail price, 7.3.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Many ratings in the top 500 of popularity currently on IMDb. As far as the critical reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, 72% from the critics, 70% from the audience. Very tight. That's real balance right there. By the way, anybody ever see the sequel?
I've not seen any of the sequels. There's 4 sequels.
There's 4?
Mm-hmm. 2 of them are animated. But they're all written by the same. Yeah, they're all written by the same guy. The same guy that wrote.
I saw this 100 times and didn't see part 2.
No. By the time part 2 came out, I think which was like 2001. I think I was already kind of like moved on.
That's true. 4 years, especially at that age, a lot changes.
Yeah.
As far as critical reviews, let's see. Trace Thurman from Horror Queers podcast, the Horror Queers podcast. Trace says, Paul Verhoeven's ahead of its time satire is equal parts grotesque and hilarious, while acting as an indictment of the war-oriented mentality that would consume our nation just a few years after its release.
Okay, but we need reviews from the era, I feel like, because it was kind of shit on when it came out. It's only been retroactively appreciated.
Yeah, let's get some dumpsters brewing here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Karina Montgomery of Cinerina back in the day said, it's fun and empty, but so much less vacuous than Men in Black.
Okay.
Just throwing a shot at Men in Black, I guess.
The other big sci-fi hit of the year, I guess.
Big Bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, big bugs and sci-fi.
Fucking minus the bear. I learned. Damn bugs whacked him, Johnny.
Goddamn bugs whacked us, Johnny. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
bear.
It made me happy.
I wondered if you caught that.
As soon as he said it, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
See? Roger Ebert, we know him back in the day. The action sequences are heavily laden with special effects, but curiously joyless.
Yeah, it is joyless when they're putting 5,000 rounds of ammunition into those giant insects. You're right, Ebes. Very astute.
That is an astute response. I completely agree with you, Travis. Richard Schickel of Time Magazine back in the day.
Schickel, I remember him.
Schickel.
Yeah. maybe the filmmakers are so lost in their slam bang visual effects that they don't give a hoot about the movie's scariest implications.
Or maybe the scariest implications are the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to hide it. Let's see. Anybody else? It'd be fun if Destin checked in. I miss you, Destin. But
Nice.
here we go. This is a take it back in time for Eric's magazine days at Meyer. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly. A kick-ass paramilitary teeny bop creature feature spectacular.
There's nothing
Teeny bop.
This is very, very full-on military. There's nothing paramilitary going on here.
Right? It is straight military.
It's militaristic, even.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the bullets, like, if this is the future, they got all this other technology, they're just still shooting bullets. You're right. It's like endless rounds of shot after shot of people shooting bullets into bugs.
Or,
It is.
or distributing bullets to children. Don't forget that scene.
Yes! Okay,
Yeah.
classic Verhoeven. When this movie started, I immediately got fired up because we're coming right in with the satirical news, coverage like they do at RoboCop.
Yep, state-sponsored news. We got state news, the federal network or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so well done. It weaves in, and it's not forced to me. I love the opening. It gets me fired up. Like, oh, this is hilarious. This is the tone of the film, too. It sets a tone of, I don't know. I guess we're older, so maybe I would look at it like when you were young, Travis, maybe we wouldn't have looked at it the same. But as someone who's in their 40s now, I'm like, whoa, this is clearly going to be a lot of meta shit going on here, a lot of inside jokes.
Each major act is prologued with this little sequence of the federal news, and like it's very interactive. Like you would kind of see it now. It's all kind of a little forward
Learn
thinking.
more.
Yeah, what do you want? Would you like to know more?
Yeah,
and it's a great way of doing exposition. I think because there's a whole bunch getting thrown at us that we need to know in those moments, but it's still entertaining and like funny, and we learn what's going on, and we learn right from the get-go that these bugs on this other planet, we don't learn why the bugs are doing this, but we don't learn that until later, but we learn from the start that the bugs are directing asteroids at planet Earth.
Yeah.
And then they're not even, it's not even crossed their minds yet that the bugs have intelligence. It's like they're literally shooting fucking asteroids at you.
This is the enemy, and we must stop them. It's this. I mean, I remember in '97, like I thought this was corny, and it turned me off a little bit. But now I'm seeing this as like straight, like newsreel footage before you see a movie in the Ford. I mean, yeah, it's like even Stallion, but it's newsreel war bravura stuff, told with great satire.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. One of the things I was thinking as I watched this, a lot of the stuff that went by me was stuff that I didn't know about history yet, especially the 1940s history. There's like, if you're versed in 30s and 40s history, there's a lot that's really more obvious here. But even some of the earlier stuff, like they have like the Mormon extremists and their colony.
The Joe Smith Point or whatever the
like, oh shit, man, they're going, yeah, all right, we're talking the West. That's the fucking West.
Yeah, you're right. Also, these are supposed to be high schoolers. That's come on.
Yeah.
It just it bothered me, but I moved on. But that was one of my immediate. This is because I'm getting my bearings, never seeing the movie for real, and I'm like, oh, they're in high school, they're graduating high school. Okay, whatever. But also, what's up? So this guy, Casper Van Dien, who? This guy was supposed to be. I feel like they were trying to make him something. Like this is a big lead in a big movie, but he did not become something. I'm sorry.
Sadly, it didn't work out, and I believe he returned for part 4 or part 3 or 4.
3, yeah.
Yeah, Casper Van Dien. He's a model. I mean, he's a model. Denise Richards is a model. Like, I got a feeling like the casting department went to Verhoeven. They're like, we got these people, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't even want to see an audition. Just give me the hottest Americans you can find. They don't even have to act. Just get them in here.
I think that, I remember him talking about that's what he wanted. Like, he wanted beautiful people living this beautiful,
blonde hair, blue eyes.
This life. Yeah, well, blonde hair, blue eyes. Because again, we got a bunch of white people with with Latin last names in Argentina. So
Here
and then later on we got Jake Busey breaks out a fiddle and is playing fucking Dixie 300 years from now. So
fucking glow in the dark fiddle. It was such a fucking weird moment. It blew my mind. It was weird.
He's playing Dixie, right? So this is an alternate universe where the fascists won, I think, every time.
Oh, okay. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that makes sense. The other thing I was thinking about in this respect is this movie is full of, hey, it's that person. I'm going to give you a few here. We got the chick from Swingers with a cigar. There's the redheaded one. Then we got Detective, what's his face from The Wire. He shows up later in the movie. What was his name? Oh, Carver, Detective Carver. And then the guy who anybody who was born in 1980 knows immediately, fucking Jeff, who stole Kelly Kapowski from Zach. I was like, oh shit! And this guy's getting real lines. This is like a real role. Good for you, Jeff.
He played Breckenridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
that his name? The guy who helps Denise Richards. He wants to fuck Denise Richards, but he's also a partner. The handsome, who loses at football, but he gets to be the better. It doesn't make sense. He's playing high school football, which, by the way, is played indoors now with a silver ball, but it's still the same game. And he's also her boss when they get into the Fleet Academy. It was kind of
he signs up a full day ahead of her, so he's got all this time.
Oh shit! You're right. My bad.
That's how ranks work.
That part's a big blunder right there. That he's training her when he literally joined the day before her. But whatever.
And we have an egalitarian society here.
Yeah, we do. Fascism works, don't you know? All you gotta do is if you ask questions, get stabbed in the hand. That's all you gotta do. Just accept that.
Medic!
Clancy Brown. We didn't mention Clancy Brown.
Fantastic.
We didn't mention Dean Norris shows up.
Yeah.
Ironsides.
Michael Ironside. Yep. There's a lot of names here.
But the thing about the egalitarian part is that it's never talked about either. It's just accepted. We don't get any background like, oh, wow, how did this come to be? Because this is a pretty big hurdle in terms of our current society. I'd like to learn some more about this, but they don't really tell us anything, which I'm kind of cool with. Oh, they do?
We have Michael Ironside's history lesson, which I've watched this movie like 100 times. His history lesson is something along the lines of he's talking about the failure of democracy and how social scientists brought the world to the edge of chaos. Veterans took control and imposed stability. So we have a military coup. And then he goes on to say that violence is the supreme authority through which all other authority is derived.
There it is. The supreme authority.
Yep. Pure fascist.
That's why you're the expert on this movie here, Travis. Well done. Nice work.
Well, it took me the 101st viewing before I really noticed that. Really blatant monologue.
One look at Doogie Howser dressed like fucking
Gestapo.
He's so like Nazi. He basically just missing the swastika. You're right.
His name is fucking Carl. I mean, like, you got Rico Ibanez, you got all these white people with these Latin last names, and you got Carl showing up. Yeah, it's not an accident.
But no matter how far you are in the future, guys, you still have Daddy projecting his own dreams on his son. Doesn't matter how far forward we go in time. Rico doesn't want to go to Harvard. Yeah, you're going to Harvard, boy. I don't want your life. That's a Varsity Blues scene, basically.
Yep. Varsity Bugs.
Hey, how about the party, like the dance that they go to? You know, that's that woman singing the song when they're all dancing. Zoe Polidorus, daughter of Basil Polidorus, who did the music for, of course, this and RoboCop and many other Verhoeven films. Yeah.
No shit. I did make a comment on that. Music sounded very 90s, even though it was supposed to be set in the future. I'm just saying. It
was a cover of a Bowie song, too, but they changed the lyrics to make it about the 23rd century.
How about Fed Paint, state-sanctioned Mario Paint ripoff?
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
that was really cool. That probably looked a lot cooler in 1997. Also, maybe the worst use of all time in any movie of the song "Fade Into You." It doesn't fit that moment at all. What the fuck?
Weird. It's the weirdest background track for a fight I've ever seen in any movie.
I know, right?
It
makes no sense.
And like maybe if the fight ends and then the song swells and it focuses and you could hear the song, but like it doesn't do that. It's just in the background the whole time. Like maybe it's in the, like they're listening to it there. I don't know.
It's usually associated with like makeouts or like tender moments. It was bizarre and
it was.
noticeable because of how bizarre the placement of it was in that scene between Casper and Jeff, who fucked Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah.
Which I won't bring up again. I know it's painful for a lot of people to relive that memory. But alluding to the look, I thought this movie looked really good. The special effects weren't bad.
Out today,
right?
Special effects are amazing. I mean, all those bugs, like when they're in that one, when they get stuck in that trap,
dude,
and they're looking out over the embankment and they can see all the bugs coming in. Like, it looks like there's a bunch of fucking bugs coming. The special effects here are really, really top notch. Like,
they're
really
fucking
good.
Awesome, and it's the perfect marriage of ILM and Tippett Studio with practical bugs and computers doing it right. What you cannot possibly do physically, you do with a computer. This is the textbook of it.
Wow. Oh, I'm so glad you guys agree on that because I felt the exact same way.
Loved it.
Oh yeah, special effects
are
are
fucking awesome. As soon as that fucking brain bug came out, I was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking awesome! This could come out today." And people, this seems like the type of movie that would like be a Netflix original and it'd be like Squid Game. Everyone would be fucking talking about it right now. But 97, it's ahead of its time.
I think it was. I think if people had picked up more on the message that's happening in this movie and been less fixated on the pretty people, which, by the way, does Denise Richard or does she not look like a cartoon sexy squirrel?
Yeah, she looks like it's a problem. I mean, like, I'm okay with the character, but like, she's so bad. I'm sorry. She's probably a real sweet person, but she's probably horrible.
Not a
she
good
might
actor.
not be either.
Never has been a good actor, but this is probably the best thing she ever did.
Yeah, Wild Things came out the next year. That's not about acting. She's actually acts better in Wild Things than she does in this movie, frankly.
I think she's serviceable in this, but I mean, a lot of the acting in this movie is not great. The story, I think, is strong. The acting is not as strong. You got,
except for Clancy Brown.
I was about to say, you got people like Clancy Brown, you got people like Dean Norris blowing in here, and Michael Ironside, and well, Ironside's a little over the top, but you've got some pretty good people blowing in and doing good work. I think Casper Van Dien is actually pretty good.
He's pretty.
I was
good.
going to say the same thing.
I mean, you don't think that Verhoeven was like getting them to try to act like fucking like G.I. Joe cartoon? I think he might have been trying to direct them to be a little cornbally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I made fun of this Casper Van Dien never turning into something, but he actually does a fine job. I agree with you guys. Also, Neil Patrick Harris was called Doogie Himmler on set. Just learned that one. And I want to share that with everybody.
There you go. That makes sense. Doogie Himmler.
Big dark shadows under his eyes. I love the reunion because they see each other and they have like, hey, let's be friends forever. They have like this bonding moment, and then they see each other like, I don't know, a year, maybe 2 years later. I'm not sure what the timeline is like, and it's like completely different. But Doogie does still save them, or saves, uses Rico to save Carmen, but. The very frigid kind of reunion they have, it's all very like, yeah, well, I fucking kill people like you every day to try and make sure that only humanity rules the galaxy, because that's really what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I kind of thought, because I hadn't seen it in so long, I thought they were going to pull a Marty from Sneakers here and have like Doogie like become like the main supreme villain here.
Me too. Yep, I was waiting for it.
They didn't. I figured for sure he would like try to figure out a way to like use the bugs to further control his people. Like,
use his psychic powers,
and all of this stuff. But no, he's just like, hey guys, ready to go on to that same battle again? Let's do it.
Because really, what we're watching this whole movie is we're watching the villains. We're watching the villains. We're watching the colonizers. Right? I mean, like, we learn in this moment that's very just kind of brushed off that we started this war. I mean, we're told at one point in the movie, Carmen's, that Denise Richards' character says that humans have interspace travel. Bugs don't. They have this defense mechanism, but they're only doing that because we went after them first.
Nice.
So I don't know where I was going with that, but
that's why it's cool that the
they're the colonizers.
They want their intelligence, so they could like. That's like their only deficit as far as the war goes is their intelligence. So they're trying to steal our brains. It's cool.
And their lack of thumbs.
Oh, yeah, that's sad. Also, did you catch Fort Cronkite? Yeah, I caught that one. Fort Cronkite.
I missed that.
Yeah, a lot of dumb stuff that just sneaks in here. Yeah, Amy Smart shows up too. Oh, hey, Amy Smart's in this movie.
Pops in.
Amy Smart.
How long,
How long does it take Jake Busey to brush his teeth?
I will say that the movie's federal news moments, like you said, where the kids get to, hey, kids, want to play with the guns? I mean, it's so masterfully crafted and is just as timely at this exact moment as it was in 1997. Verhoeven and the screenwriter, I mean, I don't know who pushed for it more. The screenwriter gets the credit for writing the script, obviously, but it's so spot on. It's so spot on.
This script is awesome. Edward Neumeier fucking created RoboCop.
Oh!
He created RoboCop. He comes back and he pens this fantastic script. I don't know anything about this Heinlein novel or if it's any similar at all.
All I know about that is that he wrote his script, and then someone read his script and went, "Hey, this is a lot like that Robert Heinlein novel," which I don't know if he'd read it or not. But so basically, they got the rights, I think in part so that they wouldn't get sued and / have like the name recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you believe IMDb trivia, right, it says that Verhoeven didn't bother to read the whole novel, and he just told Neumeier to, hey, let's just make this about a very fascist, extreme military regime.
Hell
and
yeah.
I guess the original author was on board with it. So,
Well,
which is fine.
Dead, I think.
Oh, he would have been dead?
I think.
Oh, well, then he wasn't on board with it. Maybe his spirit came back. You know, they didn't figure out that technology in this movie. I guess when you die, you still die.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
You're probably right. I don't know anything about that
far
guy.
and away death.
How about these? The tactical nuclear weapons. They're like shooting nuclear rocket launchers. So cool.
Is that how that works? Like, you could be that close to shooting a nuke into a giant bug?
I mean, they have bunker busters today, which are not, they're nuclear based.
Radiation free?
You wouldn't want to be. Yeah, that's the question. Are they radiation free?
Yeah.
But how much does the Federation really care if they're radiating their soldiers? Right. They don't care.
As we get to learn later, that Doogie is like, yeah, we send people to die. That's what we do. Right. I mean, that is just cold, but hard and true, man. Frankly, it's really not about all militaries. This really is focused, I think, on the United States military and the industrial military complex that we have here. I really do, more than anywhere else.
Again, if we're looking at the 1930s and 1940s, it wouldn't have not been very different for the Russians or
some recipe ingredients from the Nazi. I get that. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think generally speaking, I think that the powers that be are down with murdering their own people if they think it'll advance their cause. Which again brings me to my earlier point: we're following the villains. If we could, if the insects look like fucking, Ewoks, we'd be rooting for them. We'd have no problem rooting for them. But they're gross and ugly and weird, and we think, the characters think dumber too, and they're none of those things.
Yes.
Well, they're ugly, I guess, but not by their own standards, I'm sure.
You got to hit the nerve stem. That's right. You blow off an arm, he'll be good for 86% of it. But we can't forget, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, to your point, Travis, that Paul Verhoeven grew up in Nazi-occupied Netherlands. So that's a huge part of his upbringing. In fact, when he did Black Book, which came out in 2006, which is an excellent film. It's foreign language, but it's a great movie. Oh, no?
Wow.
It's good. I strongly recommend it. I think it got overshadowed by The Lives of Others. They both kind of came out around the same time, maybe. But point being is Verhoeven obviously has a strong connection to what happened in World War II, particularly in Europe. And that makes all the sense in the world that he'd want to do this project. He'd want to do this book, even though he didn't read the whole novel. He gets the gist. He lived fascism, so he understands.
And, of course, he loves gore. I mean, very early in this movie, Denise Richards, like the beautiful it girl of that time, is throwing up chunky vomit all over bug guts. I mean, just letting you know, here's the kind of movie you're in for.
Yeah, they don't hold back. They don't wait. They really get down quickly. And I appreciate that.
There's no holding back in this whole movie.
No, you're right.
I mean,
except when it comes to a bug killing a cow. You got to censor that. But then you go and show 500 bodies torn to shreds.
Well, but again, that was through the Federation News, because we get a very graphic look at a very crushed dog at one point in this movie. That's
I thought of you immediately. I felt bad for you, man. I'm sorry.
It's actually upsetting. So I think that's just the Federation. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I'm sure it is, because you don't want to upset your recruits. Like, you show dead soldiers, it'll fire them up. You show them like a cow getting ripped apart, they'll be against any type of violence.
Right.
Also, I had a note about they can create a robotic arm replacement for you, but they still haven't cured hair loss. Michael Ironsides. So he got the horseshoe still, but he's got a robotic
he might look
arm.
better.
Yeah, maybe he's like me and he's happy bald and wouldn't.
You're right.
Wouldn't
I'm
take
sorry.
the cure if he could.
I knew I've stepped on
Ed
dangerous
Harris.
ground
Imagine
here. I
Ed
apologize.
Harris with a beautiful head of hair. No, come on.
What the fuck are you talking about? So if you get a giant blade through your upper thigh, the femoral artery, don't worry about it. So everything's fine. But I do like that. I do like that though, because like he just goes in his tank and gets all sewn up and he's out walking in like 3 days. Like everything's fine.
Star Wars tank.
Yeah, so long as you don't get killed, you're probably gonna live.
Yeah.
That's right. I wanted to bring up the love stories. I wish the love stories were involved in this. Both of them. Like, okay, we're over here in this Fleet Academy where Denise Richards is falling in love with Jeff, who fucked Kelly Kapowski. And then you've got Diz.
Wait, hang on. Who the fuck is Kelly Kapowski? What are you talking about?
She's from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, okay.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, the beautiful. The maybe the icon of a generation. But that was a long time ago now. She's old.
Okay.
We're old too.
Lark Voorhees, man.
Oh, Lisa Turtle. No arguments here. I will tell you this. In the end, I didn't need them to be caught up in that. I was way more fascinated by the other parts of the story and what was going on. It was enough for me. In fact, I know we talked about the repetitive machine gun bullets into bugs for literal minutes. I wonder if you counted it all up. It might be like 10 minutes of actual film footage that we just...
like that? You want some more of that?
It's like watching a friend play a video game. Like, first few minutes, you're like, oh, dude, this looks awesome. Then you're like,
yes!
Jesus Christ, can we do something else?
Great call. That is ideal. Well done.
I don't think I got bored with it at all. Honestly, the level of violence and gunfire. I don't think I got bored by that at all in this movie.
Yeah, but I just give a fuck when they gotta send these messages to each other. Oh, I'm gonna break up with you. I gotta focus on my career. I'm like, I don't care. Get me back to the action and this fascinating intrigue of the society and the ups and downs of the misunderstandings between the bugs and the humans. That's what I cared about most.
I agree, but there are two things I think that I like. I like that this character that we're following, Johnny Rico, he joins up because of a girl he's never going to see again. He thinks, he doesn't really know, but that's how fucking young and dumb and impressionable he is. He doesn't give a shit about nation or whatever. He's just trying to impress a girl. And then I also, I never really cared for Dizzy, and I never really cared for that whole plot thread before, but actually watching it this time and when she died, I actually got a little emotional because I'm like, that is like a pretty tragic death to have a character follow another character through the movie and just want that person's love and then have one night with them and then die the next day. I thought
make it 20 minutes.
Thanks, Ironside. Which is another thing. Speaking of not holding back, like almost every fucking character in this movie dies. Like they almost all die. They get introduced and then like they're around for a while. All of them die except for Clancy Brown and
Jake Busey makes it.
And Jake Busey. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, fair amount of death.
Yeah, everyone other than our main three die.
I hated the relationship between Carmen and Johnny Rico. Not just because Denise Richards can't act and she's just like a smile face. That's what she is. She's smile face. Then she's like, yeah, sorry, it's not going to work out. It's like, okay, didn't care about this relationship anyway. I loved the relationship between Dizzy and Johnny Rico. I thought it was dynamic.
Yeah.
I thought Dina Meyer was an excellent actress. I teared up when she died. It was powerful. It was powerful to be in such a hellish nightmare and just wanting one thing and getting it. It's good stuff. The type of stuff you see in like good war movies like in the 50s or good movies about like young kids in the 50s, like Rebel Without a Cause. Yeah. It's like they're the zest for this sort of thing was prominent. But yeah, man, go ahead.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you done? Okay.
No, I didn't have another point.
You did? Go ahead.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay.
Who's talking?
And given that we're talking about this egalitarian society, or supposedly, because that's what fascism brings, right?
Co-eds.
They're co-eds. That's it. This is what you would have in the military. If you have men and women sharing the same barracks and and
first mainstream shower scene between men and women, apparently, ever. First co-ed nude shower scene in a mainstream motion picture, supposedly.
Well, I remember being pretty taken aback by it, not like bothered by it, but I remember being like, whoa, holy shit. Back in the day. And being like, why are all the dongs so perfectly arranged off screen?
Yeah. Austin Powers dongs. The coolest part is they don't have a person like try to sneak a peek or make any jokes or anything whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so advanced.
Yeah.
Right. And supposedly there's no racism either, but I mean, obviously the bugs are discriminated against, but within the human race too, I guess racism's gone, sexism is gone, so all is well in the world, right?
But all the black characters died almost immediately, Mike.
That is true.
That is true. And again, like they're just churning through generations to expand for what? For what? Like, is there a resource that they even want on this fucking planet? It's never addressed at all. They just want
conquest.
it.
Yeah,
it's just conquest, and that's
it's a total. It's just imperialism on steroids. That's what it is.
They found out that there was another sentient, semi-sentient, they think, creature in the universe, and they're like, well, we have to kill that. We must stop those bugs. Which also, the stomping the fucking cockroaches scene with the little kids, that's disturbing as hell. But that's the whole mindset that they have. That's the whole mindset that they have.
Hitler Youth.
Yep.
I don't care about cockroaches. I got to be honest. I'm sorry. I guess I'm a bad guy, but I will tell you that there's, the hegemonic domination is just so on display in this film. You're right. It's nonstop. And, oh crap. I had a point about the, what you said there. Now I lost it. Oh, that sucks. I was trying to have a good time. And now I ruined the show. I stopped the show dead in its track.
I helped ruin it.
No.
I did my part.
What were you just talking about? Something? Imperialism? Dominance?
That's what
military
talking
takeover?
Yep.
Shit!
All the
said the word
space stuff was
hegemonic.
boring. I didn't care about that ship that she was piloting or like anything going on up there. Did you?
No.
You're right. I really liked when it finally gets hit, because you're watching the movie and you're like, this is a fucking numbers game. This giant ship at some point has got to get hit, and then it does, because I'd kind of forgotten, and it does get hit, and you see like the special effects are, you can see like the whole insides of the craft. You can see like all these different people and stuff flying out into outer space. That's so hardcore too. People get sucked into outer space and they're driving, the escape pods going through. They're fucking hitting bodies in space. And
hitting bodies. I'd never seen that. That was cool.
This movie is hardcore, hard fucking core.
It never pulls back. It never tries to make it easier on anybody.
Which is partly, I think that's what the beauty of Denise Richards and Casper Van Dien is about, is that juxtaposition.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, but I still think
you put Ken and Barbie in this scenario, it almost makes it it makes it too like artificial. Like this isn't real, because this is Ken and Barbie. These aren't real people. But dude, what's the budget here? Because you are never ever gonna see a movie like this with all this violence, all this shit in it, given like $100 million. I just doubt it.
It's a great question. I'd love to know that. I'm sure we can find the answer. They had to have. I mean, this is like a big time movie, even if you never saw it. I didn't see it. Here, we got a budget of $105 million and grossed worldwide $121 million. Looks like they made their money back. So.
Probably not if you include advertising.
Well, yeah,
but
double that.
Well, isn't that part of the budget or no?
No, it's not usually
double that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember my point, by the way. So you were talking about there's no resource. It's just an endless march to conquer, conquer. And that is so well done and displayed properly when the Sky Marshal resigns, just moves to the side, slide the next one in. No one's responsible. It's just, you fail, you're out. Next.
Yep. Yeah. No one's.
It's like a headless corporation, right? There's no head.
There's no democracy either, so it's not like anyone's going to really be held to account.
Yeah, a citizen. By the way, I love that about this movie. A citizen is not. You're not just a citizen by being born. It's something you have to earn. It's like nobility or some shit.
They differentiate between civilians and citizens, which is interesting.
Yeah, I love that. That makes so much sense to me. And they didn't shove it down my throat either. I had to kind of figure it out along the way to understand how you could become a citizen. There was different markers and opportunities that would allow people to become one, and they could get access to have a kid or not. Fascinating. There's a whole other episode within this that I love to learn about the society and stuff. Hell, it could be a show.
in an alternate universe, this was a big hit, and those many sequels that came after it were well funded and with big actors, and that, you know what I mean? Because you have the same writer did all the movies.
Yeah.
So I imagine he's got a pretty clear vision, and this really feels like the first episode of something. Like it really like it ends. You're like, oh shit, damn, it's over. Like the story clearly has a lot more to tell.
Did anyone think it was a little long though?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, like this, like it seemed like the same thing kept happening. I was getting bored. After like, hey, you're going back. I was like, oh, we kind of just did that. We had the big bug, and then like a cool way to kill the big bug. And they did that like 3 more times.
Well, I watched half of it at work, and then I came home and showered up and finished the other half here. So I had a little bit of a break.
Oh, you pulled an Eric.
Yeah. So I wasn't watching it while I was fucking driving an automobile, but.
No, there's no proof of that. We don't know anything about that.
But I didn't find it to be long.
Yeah, I got bored. Newmeyer brought his original treatment that was called Bug Hunt at Outpost 7. How about that title?
Terrible.
I love
Terrible
it.
Title.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he brought it to
So
Warner
dumb.
Brothers. The studio head was a Heinlein fan, and he's like, I like this, but this is Starship Troopers. But yeah, man, dude, this script was fucking awesome. Like, everything's cheesy and like silly and corny, but like it's like the lines to me, and like it's not like dumb. You know what I mean? It's not like silly, and it's not stupid. Like it's smart while also being like cheesy and corny.
Yeah, it's like the perfect level of self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, the balance is hard, and they really crush the balance with the script. You're right. It goes in a direction sometimes that it pulls back in other areas for it. It's never too much of one thing outside of maybe the repetitive bug murders. But
yeah, and again, that's part of the point, is that this is just this kind of conquest just leads to violence upon violence upon violence upon violence.
Exactly, and so that's clever and that's well done. It's not like they didn't think about it. They didn't leave anything to chance with the script. They really crushed it.
It set the stage for, I think, for probably what could have been a really strong franchise.
I don't know what happened. I don't know how it didn't work out, but
I think people missed the fucking satire. I think people missed it, and they're just like, and they thought it was gross and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because like I love Verhoeven, I didn't want to see it. So there was other people like me, like, no, that's not my bag. But you wouldn't know anything about the film, about it, what it's really about, unless you see it. The trailer can't show you that, right?
Right. You can't pick up on that. What are they gonna do? Oh, this summer from Paul Verhoeven, a satire about fascism. Like,
did you love Showgirls? Well,
that's fair too. That has to be factored in the equation, because this is Verhoeven's follow-up to Showgirls, and it was so universally shit on and panned that it probably might have hurt this movie a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're
they
probably
still gave
right.
him $150 million after that.
They did.
It was him teamed back up with the whole RoboCop crew, right?
Yeah.
Same writer, same score,
Basil and Company?
composer, right? So I think that probably had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, still nothing you can do about that Showgirls stink. Although it's a hilarious watch now. Maybe we'll do it on the show just to laugh. Who knows?
Someday.
Well,
Eric,
I brought the film on board because I just remember it being kind of a big deal and having this big cult following. And, I turned it on and I'm like, after like the newsreel stuff and things start to get grounded, I'm like, oh boy, this is like, what is this, like fucking like Space 90210? Which I don't know. I like 90210, so I kind of would have been fine with. But the acting for me, it starts off, it was just like, it took me, the tone, Mike, you're so right. Because like, I'm like, is this balance working for me? Is this what's going on here? Like, I didn't know what to expect from it. But as things rolled on, we get a great like academy chunk, we get a great training chunk, and we get like 5 great war chunks. Like overall, man, this is a fucking really fun movie. Like I say, smart. There's illusions here that are prescient, and a little bit. Sometimes it's like, like when you play like Time Cop or like House of the Dead, like shoot, same enemy pops out, and you just cut through them like butter.
Lethal Enforcers?
Lethal Enforcers, yeah. Reload.
Narc.
I love Narc.
It gets a little tiresome for me, man. Like, and I ran out of gas. It ran out of gas, and I hit pause, and it was like 35 minutes. But overall, man, it definitely holds up. If you haven't seen it, it's a cool movie with a lot to say that could come out today and cause a stir. I dug it, man. Holds up.
Hey, great gift, Dad. Nice job. I'll go next, Travis. I would like to say that this film offers opportunities to have a laugh while also seeing incredibly brutal, gory violence. It's not quite like Tarantino out of like so silly violent necessarily, though. It's pretty hardcore. It's not trying to make it too silly. I think what you get is just a guy who, first off, Verhoeven, he doesn't want to pull back. He doesn't want the Americans to censor anything, first off. So he's always going to try to push the envelope as much as he can because to him, it's not really an envelope so much. That's just life. He sees it from a different perspective than our prudish American ways. And really, the whole founding of the MPAA, it's a bunch of assholes in the first place. Right? So we don't really need them today, thank God. But for this film, the acting's whatever. And Casper Van Dien didn't really turn into anything. That's disappointing for him, I'm sure. But for me, this movie is so classic Verhoeven all the way. And I can't believe that I didn't watch it sooner and more often. I'll have to live with this mistake for the rest of my life. Paul Verhoeven, if you're out there, I apologize. I'm sorry. I can't believe I did this to you. I owe you a tremendous apology. And I thank God that God let me live long enough to finally see this film. Sure. It holds up with a bullet.
Man, I loved this movie growing up. And this was always going to come on the show because I had almost brought it quite a few times and then just didn't for whatever reason, like it wasn't streaming somewhere and that kind of stuff. I loved it growing up, and I was, we've had a few movies that I've watched recently with this pod that I loved for quite some time and went, I don't really love this anymore. And I kind of thought I was going to do that with this. I love it more. This is the rare occasion where not only does it hold up, I think it's way better than I expected it to be. Like, it's better than I remember. I was fucking like, you guys were talking about getting bored, and like, not me. I did not get bored. I was locked in the whole time, like not playing on my phone, not really petting my dog, just kind of like, I'm just like, what's going to happen next? Even though I remembered most of it, it's just, I just find it really gripping. It's, man. Yeah, it's not like it's without flaw. It's a 1997 movie with Denise Richards in it, for God's sake. But yeah, it is awesome, man. It's got everything. It's got violence. It's got sex. It's got serious and like intelligent social commentary. It has just really fantastic special effects. It has a lot of really good actors in it. Not every moment of acting is great, but there's a lot of really great actors in it throughout. Absolutely holds up. I think I'm gonna watch the fucking sequels and see how I feel about them. Fuck it. I'm not gonna hold them up to the same standard, but if they're written by Edward Neumeier, it's worth giving them a shot.
Hell yeah!
Get back to us.
I will.
So you're saying that it's?
I already said it holds up.
Whoa! Yeah. One thing I wanted to add to what you said there. Yes, intelligent social commentary, but it's not preachy. It's not.
Yeah, it was almost too subtle somehow.
I agree. Yeah, so if you're worried about that out there, you've never seen this movie, which if you got this far in the show and you never saw the movie, that's, I don't know, are there people like that out there? Email the show, cinemanipod@gmail.com. Do you listen to episodes or watch episodes of films you've never seen before? And tell us why you do so, if you do.
I know.
I'd be curious.
Some people do. They've told me.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, holy Testicle Tuesday.
Wow, dude.
Oh, it is Tuesday. So, are we going to talk about our plans for 200, or we'll do that next week?
Well, we've made the plans. We promised to release those plans on episode 195. We might as well tell them what we've got figured out so far.
Well, go ahead, Travis. You're the leader of this thing. Take it away.
Why am I okay? We've not decided which movie yet, but we wouldn't ordinarily announce that at this point anyways. We will just say that we will be getting together, the three of us, in person to watch the movie, which has only happened at our yearly event Feast in the past. And even then, I'm not sure if we watched the movie together. We just like watched it and then got together and talked about it. So we're going to actually watch the movie together and then go straight from the film to recording. And we're going to bring in our friend who won't be with us in person, our friend Steve Guile from Is It Safe, to, I guess, quiz us about about what? About movies that we've already done, or about our podcast, or both?
The first 200 episodes, the movies that we did, it could go in any direction. Basically, Steve knows the show very well, and he's equipped with a brilliant mind to put together a nice package of trivia and fun, I don't know, like notes from the past. Like, hey, did you remember this?
Hey, did you do such and such movie? I have no idea.
Exactly. That will be a challenging question. It's 200 movies by then. Shit. Like, no.
So that is our plan for 5 episodes from now, which will be, 5 months.
And of course, we will be in 5 weeks, possibly. Of course, Eric goes away every July, so it'll be after that. But it'll be in Griffith, Indiana, too. That's the plan. We're going down to beautiful Griffith, Indiana. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. I've never been to Griffith, Indiana, ever, I don't think.
Well, speaking of Nazism, I think you guys will like it.
Oh, boy.
I'm just kidding. Totally cool.
Finally!
Very diverse.
So we'll get there on episode 200. What about episode 196, Mike? That's your pick.
Hey, tell you what. The other day, I was distracting myself by watching YouTube instead of working on what I was supposed to. Sure. A time-honored tradition now. And I stumbled upon a Oscar speech, and I was like, oh, that's a great speech. I'm impressed. And it's from the 90s. And I've decided that, and it's also just kind of, it was pure luck. I did not intend for this to go
Pure
this
luck
way.
with
But
Martin Short and Danny Glover. Great call, dude. I've been wanting to put this on the show for years.
The bee sting scene. The bee sting
stings.
allergies. Yeah.
Dude, it's
Classic.
going to be awesome.
I couldn't decide between pure luck and Krippendorf's tribe. I was torn. But then I thought about it, and I remember when I was still 13, and my mom took me to see this movie in early 1994. Just the two of us. That was a rare occurrence, but I remember that. It sticks with me. So I guess I already had my story of the first time I saw it, but next week we're going to talk about the 1993 film starring Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
All right.
It's Pride Month. That's just a coincidence, but still apropos. So I have no idea. I've not seen this movie basically since that moment. I don't recall doing a rewatch on this movie. I don't.
All right.
So,
cool.
yeah. I'm really pleased with this choice. I feel like it makes sense to me because I was like, oh, wow, this is, Tom Hanks won an Academy Award for this. This is a big deal back in the day.
You're talking about the speech where he outed his teacher who wasn't even... Or was that is that In and Out?
That's
he outed his teacher. That's the plot of In and Out. But they got it. They got In and Out from that speech. Like that's the In and Out story.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember if Tom Hanks actually did that or not. But yeah, In and Out got that idea from it.
He had tremendous admiration
gay.
And he's gay.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you go back and watch it, I don't think he was trying to hurt anybody. If anything, he was trying to please people. But yeah, that's what we'll do next week. Episode 195. Cool. Is this 195 or is that 196?
It'll be 196 next week.
Philadelphia next week.
Streets of Philadelphia.
Academy Award-winning song. Yeah. Philadelphia. Streets of Philadelphia. All right, there it is.
That's it.
That's going to do it. Thank you so much. CinemaNightPod@gmail.com. Travis, Eric, and Mike bid you adieu.
Would you
Medic!
Do you want to know more?